Hello everyone, welcome to another Nyla reading. Today we are reading A Nice Anniversary by Holtinater. He is a good friend of mine, and if you haven't checked him out, you really should check out his film fiction. He's a very talented author. He mostly writes male on male, but he's still a very talented author, and he's helped me a lot. So I just wanted to give him a shout out before we got into the reading. Without further ado, A Nice Anniversary by Holtinater. This place is super fancy. I didn't even know places like this existed in Ponyville, Carmel said to his date across the table. I know, right? I asked around a bit, and it turns out that not only is this place fancy, it also serves great food, Noteworthy replied. I hear their head chef is a griffin. Carmel's eyes went wide. A griffin? I don't know they were any good with cooking, especially with pony food. I mean, don't they eat meat? No. I haven't known any griffins, and haven't exactly tracked their eating habits, but I heard this guy's good. So as soon as we get our menus, Noteworthy craned his neck to look around the room for their waiter. We can order something to see for ourselves. She's coming in behind you. Noteworthy raised an eyebrow, then leaned forward and whispered, Sounds a lot like you later tonight. Carmel blushed. Note, you can't just say that stuff. We're in public. The waitress arrived at their table, saving Carmel from teasing temporarily. Hey, y'all. I'll be your waitress this evening. Name's Applecrisp. If you ever need any help with anything, don't be afraid to flag me down. Now, here's your menus. Applecrisp floated the two their menus in a mallow shade of green, and I'll give you a moment to look 'em over. Would you like anything to drink to start off? Ciders and spirits are on the back. Carmel responded immediately. Just 2 waters for now, thanks. Noteworthy held up a hoof. 2 waters on our anniversary. We'll take a few glasses of some Ponyville apple cider, please. Applecrisp smiled and nodded, then left the two alone once again. Carmel hung his head slightly, rubbing the back of his neck with a hoof. Sorry, just kinda on autopilot. Hey, that's all right, Noteworthy reassured him. I mean, we still got the cider, or rather we will get the cider. Probably, I can't tell the future, but in all likelihood. Note, you're doing it again. Right, Noteworthy chuckled slightly. Sorry, I'm just a little nervous. Nervous? Carmel was surprised. We've gone on how many dates before now? What's there to be nervous about? I'm not going to dump you, Note. I know that, I know. I don't know. I want this anniversary to be perfect. I mean, we only get one first anniversary. It would suck if you didn't like it. Carmel reached out to hold Noteworthy's hoof that was on the table. Hey, I've liked today. Really, I have. I mean, hanging out with our friends was super fun. But right now, I just want to hang out with you. Noteworthy giggled. Only you would call such an expensive date hanging out. Carmel glanced around at the restaurant. It did look rather expensive. He hadn't noticed until now. But everything from the gentle mood lighting to the tablecloths to the suits the waiters and waitresses were wearing screamed it in his face. And how much were the reservations again? Noteworthy reclined in his chair. Oh, not much. Just 100 bits. He carefully took note of the shocked face on his colt friend's face, then added, per pony. Note! Carmel yelled far too loudly. He instantly covered his muzzle with both hooves, looking around the room to see if anyone noticed. Everybody had, of course, but many of them were trying to pretend they hadn't. He began again much quieter this time, overcompensating into a whisper. Note, that's a ton of bits. Where did they even come from? Don't worry about it. Note tried to calm Carmel down a bit. I've got everything totally covered. Most of the bits actually came from my parents. Carmel winced. Your parents? But I thought... Oh, yeah, that hasn't changed. But they promised that if we could make it a year, they'd pay for the date. Say what you will about their kindness, but they're loyal to their word. Noteworthy tried not to dwell on the subject, quickly cutting their thoughts short with a cough. But we're not here for them. We're here for us. So, what do you say we try and enjoy the rest of the night, He held up a hoof halfway across the table. Carmel laughed and bumped it with his own. Deal. Noteworthy and Carmel were cuddling together at the very end of the day. After they'd finished at the fancy restaurant, they decided to head straight home. They had both been wanting to kiss each other throughout the night, but Noteworthy didn't like showing much affection in public. But now they were alone, together, limbs intertwined on the bed, nuzzling each other, each trying their hardest to leave no room between them. Sloppy kisses were exchanged, if they could even be called that. There was no formula here, no plan, no lead, just Noteworthy and Carmel enjoying the closeness of it all. Noteworthy felt Carmel shiver, then heard him let out a quiet whine. After all the strange movements and noises the two had made throughout, he was tempted to let it pass and continue onwards, but it became impossible to ignore once he felt a wetness seep onto his fur on his belly. The pieces clicked together. Noteworthy pulled back from the embrace to get a better look at his cult friend, who was now looking into the bed shamefully. Carmel, Noteworthy began as softly as he was able, while still making himself heard. Did you just... Carmel now had his eyes closed, his mouth shut much harder than it needed to be, and nodded quickly. Noteworthy started running a hoof through Carmel's hair. Ah, Mel, it's all right. Hey, it's okay. It happens. Nothing to be ashamed of. He leaned over and kissed him on the cheek. Carmel wilted under the touch, then turned to look at Noteworthy again, tears obvious in his eyes, threatening to pour out. But I ruined our anniversary. It was all going so well, with the park and the food and everything. Noteworthy was already hugging his cult friend again, trying to comfort him as best he could. And then right at the end, I just had to go ahead and finish before we even started. Noteworthy was petting Carmel's back, gently cooing into his ear. Shh, shh, Mel, honey, it's okay. You didn't ruin anything. I've been having a great time with you, including what just happened. And well, if I'm being honest, I was getting close too. Carmel was the one to pull away this time. He wiped his eyes, then said, You were? Ah, no, he smacked his forehead with a hoof. And I just totally ruined the mood by getting all emotional, haven't I? Sorry, no. Hey, we talked about this. No apologizing when there's nothing to be sorry for. I've just spent the most wonderful day with the most wonderful pony in the entirety of Equestria. Noteworthy reached down to his stomach and pressed down on a wet spot with a hoof, holding it up for Carmel to see, and now I have some pretty concrete evidence that he enjoyed it as well. That's all I wanted from today. If we stopped right now, I'd still be happy. Carmel yawned. No, I'm good. I can... Another yawn. Keep going. Noteworthy leaned over and kissed Carmel on the forehead. You silly colt. I think it's about your bedtime. Here, turn around. I want to be the big spoon tonight. But you were Big Spoon last night, he argued, though he still turned around. Yeah, but I think you need some more hugs, he yawned, so I will have to bear the burden of being Big Spoon once again. Noteworthy scooted forward until he was cuddling Carmel again, this time from the back. Fine, Carmel grumbled. Good night, Note. Good night, Mel. The end. Thanks for listening.